This is our brand new first aid skills practice kit. So this is meant to assist first aid instructors in their programs to provide really good gear to allow their students to get more competent and comfortable with the skills we're training them on. Now, in addition to what you'll commonly see in first aid courses, your CPR masks, your CPR mannequins, AEDs, all that stuff is separate. This kit really focuses on life-threatening bleeding and shock, minor wound care, bone, muscle, and joint injuries, and splinting. And you do also have an option to include the medication module. So this has all your simulated medications for major illnesses and medical conditions that we'd be assisting with those drugs in a first aider sense. So this includes the epinephrine auto-injector trainer, training aspirin, a training Narcan nasal spray, a training inhaler, as well as a training spacer device for the inhaler, and a training nitro spray. So that's an option, and it easily fits inside this bag to allow for your courses to just be a little bit more hands-on and practical. And our whole goal of this is to make it easy for new instructors or instructors looking to upgrade their gear to get an all-in-one package. Everything's done for them. It's just kind of a roll out and go process. So this kit comes in the red bag you see here. It's a nice water resistant bag, easy to wipe down. It's got clear first aid logoing. This is nice and easy for either students to carry out to do scenarios or to bring out to your gear, to your group as you're doing skills practices. So just got a Velcro up top here, and then a nice large zipper opening, and everything just easily opens inside. So inside this, we have our minor wound care module. So this has 2 abdominal pads, 4 4-inch by 4-inch gauze pads, 4 non-adherent gauze pads, 1 roll of the hypoallergenic tape, 10 BZK swabs, 20 fabric bandages, 4 4-inch roller gauze, and 1 fine point tweezer. So all that is included in this little bag here, and this just allows for all the practice of the minor kind of wound care components of the course. Here's the bandages and BZK. So that's all of the minor wound care stuff. Then for our life-threatening bleeding, we've included our trauma shears. So you get a nice pair of trauma shears there that's going to last you a long time for training. A training windlass tourniquet. So this is the CAT style tourniquet. So it has the windlass there. It has instructions with it. The blue indicates training. So that's a really good one because we're teaching tourniquets in all of our first aid courses now. Then we also have our compact pressure dressing. So this is an elastic wrap with the gauze attached. It's the simplest for students to learn to do pressure dressings. There are obviously more robust versions of this, but I think to keep it simple in training, this really gets across the point, and it's a more accessible piece of gear that people may have access to, or they can make on their own with elastic wraps and the gauze included here as well. So in addition to that, we have 2 elastic wraps, a 3-inch and a 4-inch. These are really good for, you can do your bleeding control with this. You can also do your splinting. We also include a padded moldable aluminum splint. So this is the full size, really good for doing wrist and ankle splints, and just a tool that I think a lot of first aid students really appreciate learning since it's become so common in first aid kits. It's an easy to access item, and it just does so much for those bone, muscle, joint injuries. So that's a really nice piece there. Then we've got triangle bandages, and these are not your standard kind of throwaways. These are cotton. They're extra large, 43-inch by 43-inch by 61-inch. So they're quite a bit bigger, so they're going to fit a lot more students, which is nice. Each of them comes with the 2 safety pins, and these are washable. You can throw them in the machine wash them after each course, and reuse them. They're just a little bit nicer to work with than the muslin ones that are kind of the disposable ones that shred really easily. So these are going to last you a long time for training. So you get 3 of those triangle bandages in there. An instant cold pack just to go through how to use that, how it works, the instructions. So it's a nice one for people to get their hands on and kind of play with. 2 tongue depressors for doing finger splints. So just another piece of gear they can practice with. And then what I really appreciate in this is a 4-foot by 6-foot tarp. And this is really meant to simulate a blanket So an emergency blanket. You can also do improvised splints by rolling sticks into this if you're doing that in your courses. But I think this is a really good piece of gear. We use the space blankets, but they never repackaged well. So this kind of gets at that same idea. Also just the idea of using a blanket or warmth for treating shock in patients. And that's something people often forget. So I think this is just a good hands-on reminder for that. It's easy to pull out in course and do this as you're teaching kind of the recovery role and management for shock. And this one's gonna last you a long time, much longer than those shiny space blankets. It's easily reusable, refoldable, and it fits in the bag quite nicely. So that is our first aid skills practice kit. This is going to be up on Wild Med Kits today, so take a look out for it. And we're going to have a whole ton of other first aid training gear in the future.